Okay, so we're going to do another one of these, and this says solve the system. We've got this as a result here, but they give us a hint on this one. So the hint on this, it says let u equal 1 over x squared and v equal 1 over y squared. So this is a different type of problem that you might see here. So instead of trying to do it in this format, we're going to go ahead and follow the hint that they give us in this particular problem. Now, if I have 5 over x squared, that's the same thing as 5 times 1 over x squared. So by looking at it this way, they're saying that I can convert all these over into u's and v's by using the substitution that they give us in that problem. So because they give us that hint, we can go ahead and write it that way. So 5 over x squared, 5 times 1 over x squared, that means that for the first part, I can change the first section into a 5u. And then next I want to do 2 over y squared. That's the same thing as 2 times 1 over y squared, or I can write that as 2v. And that's going to equal negative 3. This one here, I have 3 over x squared. 3 times 1 over x squared will be 3u. And then plus 1 over u squared, that's a direct substitution. I can just put a v in for that one. So it says to do all this stuff first. So we're converting this original problem into this one. Now that one's a lot easier to solve. This one we can solve by using our substitution or elimination techniques. In this case, I'm going to use elimination on this one. So I'm going to take this and multiply by 2, and that gives me, so the top equation is not going to change at all. I'll leave that the same. The bottom one, I'm going to multiply everything by 2. I get 6u plus 2v equals 14, and I'm going to add all that together. So if I add that together, 11u, I get the v's are going to cancel out, and I get 11 over here on that side. And if I divide both sides by 11, I'll get u is equal to 1. Now I still want to solve for the v. I can either use the top equation or I can use this one before I multiply by 2. I'm going to actually use the second one in this case. So I have 3 times u, 3 times 1 plus v equals 7. So I get 3 plus v equals 7. V is going to end up equaling 4. So I get my answer, u is 1 and v is 4. So the question is, does this answer this system? The answer is no, because this has x's and y's in it. I just solved for u and v. So what you have to do is, that was the original one. Instead, what I'm going to do is put it back in these substitutions that I did earlier. So I have u is equal to 1. That means that, so if I have u equal to 1, that means that I can put in 1 over x squared instead of u, because that's what my hint told me to do. And I have this one. My other one that I got was v equals 4. And again, instead of the v, I can put in 1 over y squared equals 4. So now I just want to solve both of these to get my answer. Well, I can cross multiply on this one. So multiply 1 times x squared is just x squared. Multiply these, I get 1. Square root of both sides, and I get plus or minus 1 for x. Over here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cross multiply. I get 4y squared equals 1. Divide both sides by 4, and I get 1/4. But then when I square root both sides, I get y is equal to plus or minus 1/2. So now I have plus or minus 1 and plus or minus 1/2. So because I get 4 different answers, x's and y's, I'm going to have 4 different points. And so I want to go ahead and write out my answer. So what I'm going to do for each of these, so if I have like blanks on a test, for instance, I'll just go ahead and write all my answers on those blanks. I'm just going to go through all the different combinations of 1 and 1/2. So first I have a positive 1 and positive 1/2, positive 1, negative 1/2. Then I have negative 1 and positive 1/2, negative 1 and negative 1/2. That would get me all the different combinations. That would get me all 4 of my answers. So for problems like this, go ahead and use the hint that they give you, and you should be able to change it into something linear like this, and then go ahead and solve it the same way. The main thing again to remember about these kind of problems is once you get your answers for u and v, you're not done yet. Go ahead and put back those substitutions in from what they suggested by the hints, and you'll be able to get your final answers in terms of x and y.